Friends, family and business associates are gathering today to remember Soweto businessman and property mogul Richard Maponya. He died on Monday at the ripe old age of 99. Dan Moyane is at the Rosebank Union Church. Dan, we literally are expecting both private and public sector just to remember Dr. Richard Maponya and to really shed some light in terms of one may describe as a life well lived and fully lived. Set the scene for us this morning.
Morning, Faith. Indeed, it was a life well lived. I mean, he passed away last week, Monday, at the age of 99. As we know, in December, Faith, he was already reported to be not well. He was in hospital. We saw the outpouring of support to the family at that time from near and far, because Ntate Maponya touched many people's lives in different ways, not only in business. And you can tell, Faith, from the program that's been set up here at this memorial service that's going to take place this morning from about 10:30. We understand from the family spokesperson Mandla Sibeko. It's here at the Rosebank Union Church in Sandton. You can tell from this program that the family went to great lengths to make sure that it's balanced to reflect the legacy of Ntate Maponya. So we'll be having members of the family, even great-grandchildren paying their tribute today. We'll also be having members of the business community, and they come from near and far. I was actually very fascinated to see on this program, Faith, this morning, a spokesperson from the Winterveld farming community. And of course, we know Winterveld is in the northern parts of Tshwane, beyond Soshangube and Mabopane. And that means that Maponya's interest went beyond what he was really known for. We've referred to him since his passing as the doyen of business, as the father of black retail. But now, listen, Winterveld farming community was also touched by him. So we're expecting this program to kick off at about 10:30. There's also members, Faith, of the academia who will be paying their tribute later on this morning.
Well, I mean, we're definitely expecting a lot to be said about this giant, business giant, one may say. And I had the pleasure of speaking to him a few years ago, and what was just so apparent and just so striking is how he was able to detail every moment of his life, the challenges, the hurdles, the progress that he made, whether from going into the business where he was picking up milk bottles to retail, selling, clothes from the boot of the car, and how he was able to just account for all of those moments in his life, just shedding some light into this notion around hard work truly does pay off, and the fact that life is indeed a progression rather than just an instant phenomena.
Yeah, I mean, another famous expression that we all know nowadays is that you don't let circumstances define you. Go back to the 50s when Ntate Maponya started in business. We understand, when I was growing up in Soweto, not far from Dube, where the first Maponya shop was, which later became the home and still is today, of the first ShopRite Checkers in the township, we used to hear about the milk bottles. We used to see the milk bottles. My father was a customer, one of many customers of Ntate Maponya. He used to be on that bike himself, rolling up his sleeves. But go back then, his first love was the world of clothing, textile and fashion. But because he was black and because we lived under apartheid, he could not really succeed in that. He was in fact asked by the people he worked with at the time that he should not continue in that clothing business. And then he went on into retail, you know, the milk bottles, the dairy business that was in Dube, as we all got to know. And he was on that bicycles. I mean, for about 6 or 7 years of his life, toiling in and around the streets of Soweto, not just Dube Township, where he was based, but beyond that, right up to the neighborhoods like where I grew up in YCT Jabavu in Soweto. And we all grew up knowing about the milk of Ntate Maponya. And beyond that, his legacy, taking us to modern day South Africa, the democratic South Africa, involved him touching the lives of young people and old people in all shapes and form. And who will forget, Faith, that today Soweto boasts one of the most world-class, if not the world-class shopping mall in Maponya Mall in Pimville, Klipspruit.
Well, we're definitely going to be crossing between in and out of the service, and also just listening in on what is being shared about the life and the legacy of Dr. Richard Maponya. Quite a full, a rich life well lived. Dan, we're going to leave it there for now. And we're going to be going into so many issues around his life, shedding some light and stories. And I know that loved ones, family, friends, community members, and also those individuals that is touched will be going into how this man, at one stage or another, contributed to their success. And I know that that is particularly important. I must ask you though, Dan, before I let you go, do you think that in looking at the world of business now, especially when it comes to black business and what's been happening in the evolution of black business, do we still have that resilience and do we still have that determination as demonstrated by the likes of Dr. Richard Maponya, who at a time when, never mind the circumstances of the era, but also look at the fact that he had to go up against apartheid, where it was legally right to actually ensure that a black person does not succeed in private or even public sector in this country, but in respect of that individual chose to go on head on and face those challenges of the day and make a success of his life. Do we still have that same resilience, that same vigor, that same chutzpah as demonstrated by the likes of Dr. Richard Maponya, in your opinion?
I think you would find it in pockets, Faith, to be very fair. He himself, in the last years of his life, he decried the fact that he doesn't get the sense that many young South Africans are rolling up their sleeves to create something from scratch. Remember, Maponya had nothing when he started. I mean, just this past week, we've been celebrating the 50th anniversary of another Soweto creation by Kaizer Motaung, the Kaizer Chiefs. He also started with nothing from nowhere. Today, Kaizer Chiefs stands tall as a footballing brand on our continent. So Ntate Maponya himself used to say, we need to do more in terms of skills, we need to do more in terms of entrepreneurship. In fact, I understand in the last year of his life, he was really hoping that he could kickstart the formation of an academy to bolster entrepreneurship in our country. So we do have in pockets resilience, but sadly many of our young people and many other people have thought that there is an easy way to succeed in business or building a legacy. Nothing comes easy. There's nothing like easy money.
Absolutely. Dan Moyane there. We're going to be speaking to him as we look at that life and that legacy of Dr.